Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online Kashmir Cultural Heritage Awareness Series. Today is our 89th and is going to be by Shri Vijay Hashia on the topic Return of Kashmiri Pandits. It's going to be an interesting topic for us as we always talk about it. Let us start today's session with prayer by Srimati S. Jayanti. Jayanti has been learning Carnatic music for the past 15 years, initially under the tutelage of Dr. S. Rajaram, disciple of Sri D.K. Jayaraman, and currently under the tutelage of Sri A.S. Murali, disciple of Sri P.S. Narayanaswamy. At the age of 7, she was blessed to receive her first prize from Bharata Ratna Srimati M.S. Subbalakshmi for a competition conducted by Triveni Arts Academy. She has completed Diploma in Carnatic Music from Madras University and then completed her MA Music from Dr. Jayalalitha Music and Fine Arts University, Chennai. She has been awarded the Sangeeta Yuva Brahmam by Sri Sumukhi Rajashekharan Memorial Foundation at the age of 16. She has been showcasing her musical talents in various places and won many prizes in diverse competitions. Please go ahead, Jayanti.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Kamakshi Kamakoti Pithavasini Kamakshi Kamakoti Pithavasini Mama Kamakshi Kamakoti Pithavasini Mama Kamakshi Kamakoti Pithavasini Mama Kamakshi Kumari Kusuma Dyuti Kumari Kusuma Dyuti Kumari Kusuma Dyuti Hema Varana Bhushani Kumari Kusuma Dyuti Hema Varana Bhushani Samasta Samrajyadayini Samasta Samrajyadayini Satguru Guhajanani Samasta Samrajyadayini Satguru Guhajanani Kamakshi Kamakoti Pithavasini Mama Kamakshi Kamalesha Sohodari Kamalakshi Narayani Kamalesha Sohodari Kamalakshi Narayani Kamalesha Sohodari Kamalakshi Narayani Nagabhyado Kala Swarupini Nagabhyado Kala Swarupini Katyayani Nagabhyado Kala Swarupini कामकला प्रदर्शिनी कामकला प्रदर्शिनी कल्याण गुणशालिनी कामकला प्रदर्शिनी कल्याण गुणशालिनी कामाक्षी कामकोटि पीठवासिनी मामव कामाक्षी
That is so nice, Jayanti. Thank you for joining our series today. And I look forward to seeing you more in the near future.
Thank you, sir.
We now thank Sri Kanchi Mutt for our ongoing Kashmir initiatives and offer our namaskar on His Holiness Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal. Kanchi Mutt has been in the forefront, modestly working with the sole aim of national integration, spiritual enlightenment, and preserving the uniqueness of Kashmir, as Kashmir is our cultural heritage. We are now very pleased to introduce Shri Vijay Hashia, our speaker, with this brief. Shri Vijay Hashia has done his master's in management studies and is presently involved in consultancy with corporate educational institutions. He has mentored and guided budding engineering and management students in various reputed educational institutions. A voracious writer, he has been writing for the last 30 years and has contributed through monthly write ups over 500 articles in Speaking Tree, a well known Times of India column, Aalav and Spade, a Spade, covering spiritual, religious, political, social, and cultural aspects. Material and spiritual dimensions. I'm going to just uh, read out a few of these scholarly published articles as they're very interesting topics. Material and spiritual dimensions of spiritualism. You have the power to effect change. Good values as the bottom line in life. Faith and reason. The Om sound is cosmic, not religious. Right thought is a fulcrum of happiness. Dharma and Adharma. Optimism leads to happiness and success. Enjoy the cosmic drama and ubiquitous energy paradigm in creation. A life living meaningfully benefits all. Explore the beauty of Sat, Chit, Anand, and many more. Besides all these, Vijay ji also writes for Daily Excelsior, published from Jammu, which has the highest readership in the state. In 1990, the Exodus promoted his involvement in social work with the Kashmiri Hindu Samithi and later with the Kashmiri Hindu Cultural Welfare Trust in Bangalore, to which he remains dedicated to this day. Sri Hashia possesses a spirit of adventure in exploring places and knowing different cultures and traditions. Friendly and supportive, his life mantra is life journey is not dependent on constant acquisition and amassing possessions, but on contentment of blissful ways of living. Sri Vijay Hashia is a Kashmiri Pandit who left Kashmir in 1990, consequent to the ongoing terrorism. We are very pleased to have you with us today and thank you for this great topic, which we have been touching upon during our coverages earlier. And it's really a bold attempt coming to talk about this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shankarji. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Kanchi Kamakoti Pithatipati Jagadguru, Shri Shankaracharya, Shri Charanayo, Pranama, Shri Guruvayo Nama, Shri Maha Tripura Sundari Sameta Shri Chandra Mauleshwaraya Nama. My humble pranam to Goddess Kamakshi, to lotus feet of Adi Shankaracharya. My humble pranam to Kanchi Paramacharya and to Kanchi Peetham. Namaskar and thanks to you, Shankarji, and your entire team for inviting me on 89th Awareness Series, which is aimed at promoting awareness on cultural heritage of Kashmir and preserving the next generation by enabling their return without fear. My humble namaskar to all beloved viewers throughout the globe. I will have this talk in two parts. First, I'll give a brief introduction, which will, after that, I'll move to whether the return is an anathema. If yes, why so? And if not, what ails the return? Number three, what will happen if we return? Second part will comprise, is the present situation conducive to return? Where and when and how to return? And then I'll move to the strategies to be adopted, what strategies can be adopted, and then to the question and answer session. Well, there has been much talk about the return, which has been an elusive dream for the decades now. The cardinal question here is when to return, how to return, and where to return, which I'll come a bit later. And let me have the introduction first. More than 3 long decades have elapsed. We are now in the 32nd year of exodus. The prospects of return remain an elusive dream. Since the dark days of 1990, when Kashmiri Pandits endured the unimaginable suffering, much has been discussed, deliberated upon, and executed. There has been restructuring of the state, dilution of Article 370, the repeal of Article 35A, but it has given a little solace to the heart-wrenching saga of displaced community. The losses in terms of human and material are so extreme that words can scarcely do justice. The desire to return home is not solely about re-establishing a physical connection. It is about reclaiming the intellectual space of belonging. But there is a scant indication of any concrete political and social action plan aimed at facilitating our return. The exodus of Kashmiri Pandit stands as one of the most tragic episodes in the modern history of India. The predicament is intricately woven into the complex saga of Kashmir issue, which has grown increasingly contentious with each political shift, whether at the center or the state. As we, a resilient community, have adapted and adopted to the various twists, rebuilding our lives amidst the adversary, yet those who are enduring life in camps and makeshift accommodations continue to struggle, eking out hand-to-mouth living in subhuman conditions. Take, for instance, Jagati Township, where approximately 5,000 souls reside in cramped quarters with inadequate spaces, sanitation, and health care. Similar conditions prevail in camps in Purku, casting a shadow over the failure of successive governments, administrators, and Indian state in facilitating return and rehabilitation. The diaspora remains haunted by nostalgia. We cannot erase memory of cherished Kashmir left behind, or the traumatic circumstances that forced us to flee in 1990 and 91. The Kashmiri Pandits, in many ways, embody a cosmopolitanism, adapting seamlessly to the diverse cultures and becoming integral member of professional circles worldwide. They are known for their intelligence, their spirituality, a liberal and pragmatic outlook, unburdened by the dogmas or the constraints of orthodoxies from the past. Education ranks top in the list of priorities, with many achieving top ranks in the academic and professional fields. From Jammu to Bangalore, Bhopal to Pune and Mumbai, Ahmedabad to Jaipur, Sydney to Silicon Valley, Berlin to Brussels, the Kashmiri Pandits have scripted stories of success and prosperity. In every sphere, they have excelled and earned their space in as a law-abiding citizens. Globally, Kashmiri Pandit community numbers 6 to 7 lakhs, with approximately 60,000 registered as migrants in RRC office Jammu. Of these, 38,000 reside in Jammu, 19,000 reside in Delhi, and rest are scattered around the globe. Approximately 7 to 8,000, including 6,000 Prime Minister's package employees, reside in Kashmir Valley. All of them are victims of genocide, some way or the other. Each bears a harrowing tale of relentless persecution, with a unique tale of cursed exodus. But it does not mean KPs have foregone the claim or roots and they won't return. Yet the burning question lingers: when, where, and how to return. While most of us perceive exodus as part of the systematic ethnic cleansing, the Kashmiri Muslim views departure as a conspiracy by the Governor Jagmohan. What is more disturbing is the Honorable Supreme Court having shut the doors for a curative petition which was filed by the Roots in Kashmir to get the perpetrators to the book. Number two, not acknowledging and recognizing 1989-91 atrocities on Kashmir as act of genocide, despite the United States-based non-profit International Commission, Human Rights and Religious Freedom, having called upon the Government of India and the Government of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to acknowledge and recognize the 1989 and 91 atrocities of Kashmiri Pandits as an act of genocide, but to no avail. More than 200 FIRs have been filed, but without any result, without any inquiry, and without any conviction. Who will forget 19 January? Who will forget 14 September, which are written in the annals of history? Can the killing of erudite judges, lawyers, politicians, academicians, scholars, artists, businessmen, entrepreneurs be forgotten? Shri Tikilalji Teplo fell to the bullets on 14th of September 1989, and the latest to fell to the bullets was Rahul Bhatt on 12th May 2022. The violence and the targets remain unabated. Can the killings of Justice Nilkant Ganjo, Sarvanand Premi, literator, and his 27-year-old son Virender Premnath Bhatt, Lasakol, Station Director DD, PN Hondo, Assistant Director Information Center, Sheila Tikko, and others be forgotten? Can mass killings of men, women, and infant children in Nandimarg, Vandahama, and Sangrampora be forgotten? Nay, these cannot be forgotten. In the milieu of this question of return remains an anathema, because complex historical and political factors. Number two, displacement of Kashmiri Pandits for the past 3 decades, security concerns, and persistent terror attacks. Number four, disrupted social fabric and communal tensions. Number five, challenges of rehabilitation and reintegration. Number six, ongoing debates, and differing political and social perspectives. What ails then? Lack of, number one, lack of security, educate security. Number two, lack of infrastructure, lack of return and rehabilitation policy. Number four, lack of economic and job opportunities. Number five, lack of trust building and reconciliation measures, legal and property issues, lack of political will, bureaucratic and administrative hurdles also are responsible for what ails it. But before I explore further, let me tell what widens the scope of return, because this is important here. Number one, accentuating the genocide officially, which has not been done, it widens the scope. Number two, reopening of the murder cases for an independent probe and punishing those responsible for the genocide. Number three, a reversal of the distressed sales and illegal land grab, including reconstruction of dismantled and dilapidated temples prior to 1989, which almost post migration, the number is 170 temples which have been damaged. Releasing time bound return and rehabilitation policy document, political representation in LS and RS on the similar lines, which has been JNK Assembly, two seats have been nominated. Last but not least, the return has to be determined by the acceptance of the local populace. But again, the question emerges, and what happened? It's premature to answer this at this stage, but in the words of Brahmadat, the character Brahmadat in movie Kashmir Files, which was played by Mithun Chakravarti, he quote what he said, quote, "You will get the justice," unquote, is a hope that every Kashmiri Pandit aspires for. Why return is an anathema? Now I'll elaborate it further. Number one is the security concern. Kashmir has been a hotbed. It has taken a bloodbath has taken there. So for the last over 3 decades. So a return may increase the terror threats to Kashmiris. A return may put the lives into danger. We could become soft targets. A return may be viewed as a threat to terror organizations, threat by terror organizations, because they will treat it as it's a threat to us, because they have been treating the Kashmiri community. They are informers and they are agents of government of India. As we have seen past 2019, post August 2019, the dilution of 370 and abrogation of 35A saw 125 civilians got killed. 22 were Hindus and 6 were Kashmiri Pandits in the different districts of Kashmir. Among them, Ajay Pandita, who was a Sarpanch in Anantnag, and Rakesh Pandita, BJP Karyakarta in Tral. Ajay Da was working in the police department in Handwara. Makhanlal Bindro, 70 years, who did not leave Kashmir consequent to migration. He was killed the broad daylight. Balkrishan Bhatt, killed in Kulgam. And Rahul Bhatt, recently, who was working in the revenue department, also was killed. Apart from the Hindus killed were Spender Kaur, Virender Paswan, Satish Kumar Rajput, Ranjit Singh, a wine shop employee, and Rajani Bala, teacher in Kulgam, Vijay Kumar, a banker, Constable Riaz Ahmad Thoka, off-duty constables Saifullah Qadri, Amreen Bhatt, a local TV artist, even non-local laborers who had gone there and were working with the bricklin in the factories, they were also the targets. And recently in the South Kashmir, in Kokarnag, 4 lives were taken. Out of these, 2 were officers from the army and 1 from the police. And this has been confirmed by the J&K DGP recently, that there's a Pak hand and ISI is involved in that. And it is admitted by one of the terrorists that there was a role in laying the ambush and trap and kill these army officers. But despite that, the political voice remains silent, except Farooq Abdullah, who says that nothing will happen, no dialogue, unless there is a dialogue. We are fools if we think the violence will stop. We will keep losing lives. Both the countries must talk. But India maintains that talks and terror cannot go together. There are still 5 terror groups active. Out of these, 6 have been eliminated. Number 1, Lashkar-e-Taiba is active, Jaish-e-Mohammed is active, United Jihad Council is active, Hizbul Mujahideen is active, and the new one, TRF, Resistance Front, is also active. With these active terror groups, there is high risk of attacks, abduction, or threats against the lives and property of Kashmiri Pandits. And they may disrupt the process of return and reintegration. So the question, can government provide adequate security and infrastructure to us for our protection if we want to return? I have told you 3 points. Number 1 of the return may increase terror threats. Return may put the lives into danger as we will become soft targets. Return may be viewed as a threat by the terror organizations, and fundamental, so to say, the beleaguered community would become the easy target. Number 4, return may recreate and aggravate property and land disputes. There has been already loot, grab, and arson, which is to the hundred out community, KP community. This has led to either usurping or occupation of the properties by force. The instances have been numerous. To quote a few, Dr. K.N. Pandita, who is a Persian scholar, his house was looted, ransacked, and converted into the latrine. Despite having lodged the complaint, nothing has been done. M.K. Das and Mrs. Sheila Das, they had a regular tenancy shop in the Akhara building in Mysuma. The shop was ransacked. All the medical goods were separated away. He approached the concerned authorities, but to no avail. Forcible occupation of the houses, Brijlal Tamiri, who lived in Shivpura and fled away in early 90s. When he tried to find out the state of his house, he was informed by the police that his house has been occupied by one Abdul Karim, which he claims to have purchased from him. The victim, along with others who had also suffered the same fate, took up the matter with the National Human Rights Commission through an NGO, Friends in Kashmir International, upon no action by the police or the state authorities. It was stated by the National Human Rights Commission that many internally displaced persons are lodging complaints with the police in Jammu, stating that their houses, shops, orchards, and lands have been grabbed by muscle men with the connivance of authorities. It was also stated by the NGO to the National Human Rights Commission that a fraudulent mechanism had evolved by issuing court summons to the owners. Lawlessness resorted to loot by muscle men, and the state government did not take any responsibility to protect the properties of the migrants. The National Human Rights Commission was requested to intervene and stop this violation. The threats to life by the armed militants prevents the internally displaced persons from presenting themselves before any court of law in the valley. Therefore, the illegal occupants, meanwhile, what they did, they ransacked and damaged the house. They took the plumbing items, electric items, and whatever the articles were kept there, they marauded that and Under these circumstances, the National Human Rights Commission was requested to advise the government of Jammu and Kashmir to issue the appropriate orders. They were advised to stopping the sale of any kind of the immovable property of the internally displaced persons, appointing an independent tribunal headed by the High Court judge based in Jammu. All cases of internally displaced person properties could be referred to the tribunal for a speedy and summary disposal, holding the forcible occupants responsible for damaging the house and looting the immovable property. Since these distressed sales worth crores were purchased by the locals at throwaway prices, the J&K government, after protracted correspondence and directions of the National Human Rights Commission, mulled only the possibility of declaring all the properties sold by the KPs after 89 and 90 as distressed sales and declare them as null and void, and accordingly restore the possession back to Kashmiri Pandits. But in this context, there is an empowered committee, parliamentary standing committee on home affairs by late Sushma, which was headed by late Sushma Swaraj of BJP, in its 137 report 2009 recommended. I'll read only a few of these, what was the recommendation given. That displaced persons had left behind their property, household goods, business establishments, agricultural land, other means of livelihood, and continuing to lead their lives in scarcity and insecurity. Neither the central government nor the state government has adopted a holistic approach to tackle the problems being faced by the displaced person. Number two, should provide land to them. This is what the directions of recommendations of the parliamentary committee are there. The government should provide the land to them for construction of houses under group housing schemes and for construction of cultural centers. Should provide, educate, health care with utmost seriousness and sanction them a reasonably enhanced medical allowance so that they do not die of any ailment due to the lack of medical attention. Should safeguard the right to property of Kashmiri Pandits who have been compelled to flee their homes and hearts for fear of their lives and dignity. Should act forthwith with all seriousness to remove the encroachments and instill much needed confidence in migrants by undertaking suitable action in this regard. All houses of Kashmiri Pandits lying in the dilapidated condition should be rebuilt by the government, or a liberal grant be offered to owners of properties to rebuild them. The government should explore the possibility of declaring all properties, movable and immovable, sold by the displaced persons after 89-90 as distress sales and declare the sales as null and void. There should be a blanket ban on acquisition of properties of KPs by the state government. The word, very important, the word migrant used in the context of the Kashmiri displaced person is not an appropriate expression, because the affected persons had been forced to give up their homes and hearts against their own will due to the mayhem caused by the militants. Now, why they could not, why they could say about migrants, declare the Kashmiri Pandits as migrants, why not refugees and IDPs? Well, let me tell, what is the migrant definition in Indian constitution? Migrant chooses to move not because of a direct threat of persecution or death, but mainly to improve their lives by finding work, or in some cases for education, family and reunion. Please note these words. Migrant face no such impediment to return. Now, Indian law covers this migrant definition and speaks about a lot about the migrants. Now, I'll move to the refugee or an IDP. Refugee are persons fleeing armed conflict or persecution. The situation is often so perilous and intolerable that they cannot return to homeland, which is the present circumstances, and seek safety and become internally recognized with access to assistance from the UNHCR, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, and other organizations. They are so recognized precisely because it is too dangerous for them to return home and they need sanctuary. Why this word was not specified for Kashmiri Pandits? Because India lacks specific law. Our country is not a party to 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 protocol, and there is no key legal document pertaining to this refugee protection. Then IDP is almost similar. Internally displaced persons are those forced to flee their home due to armed conflict or persecution. IDPs live in their own country of origin but are often afraid or unwilling to return to the native for fear of persecution. IDP is a descriptive term but not legal. While assistance to refugee is legal, the principles of IDP are non-binding, but IDP still have a right. Laws, there are no laws in Indian constitution for IDPs. Well, I am talking this time about the return as anathema. I have told you a return may increase terror threats. Number two, a return may put lives in danger if we go there and will become a soft targets. A return may be viewed as a threat by terror organizations and fundamentalists. So to say, the members of the beleaguered community could become easy target. A return may further create social tensions and hostility. This is point number 4. As some hardcore fundamentalists and group harbor resentment and suspicion towards the returning community, which may lead to verbal duets and if not managed socially, politically, and administratively. Number 5, return may create religious and cultural clashes and on religious practices, place of worship. If not, it's not managed politically, administratively, socially. I am telling you about specifying politically how the politicians, how it has to be with the political will. Administrative, there must be some administrative action when they want Kashmiri Pandits to return, and socially it has to be composite. Return make a strain. Number 6, return may strain existing resources, infrastructure, basic services, making it difficult to provide housing, healthcare, education, and other essential services if not managed politically, administratively, and socially. Number 7, return may escalate border tensions. Yes, if Kashmiri Pandits go there, and any violence or any arrest due to the return will have diplomatic and security consequences. Number 8, return will have communication challenges due to the limited and unreliable communication infrastructure if not managed properly. A return will re-alter the demography. As a lot of changes have taken place there, and if we return, where to return, that is a very big question. So it may change the demography and accordingly it will have the repercussions. Most important to note, return is not a matter of physical relocation. It's a matter of social integration. It involves coexistence. It involves harmonious interaction with the communities within the society. Addressing these issues, addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive and coordinated approach involving all the stakeholders, not only Kashmiri Pandits, but all the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The political parties, government, security forces, civil societies, and Kashmiri Pandits have to be on the board. The decade-long separation has left scars. KPs who left Kashmir harbor feeling of betrayal, fear, and trauma. due to the violence and persecution. On the other hand, Kashmiri Muslim harbors feeling of resentment, distrust, suspicion towards Kashmiri Pandits. Therefore, rebuilding trust. Trust is very important here, and fostering the positive social interaction is a daunting political challenge for the politicians, for the political parties. Views for the proposition here was in favor, I was talking about the return now, but we have the right to return. We cannot say that all these challenges are there, all these things are, so we cannot return. It's our fundamental right over the homeland. Challenges are visible. There are sea changes that we have to see that aspect also. There is a sharp decline in the terrorist activities. More foreign ultras have been eliminated this year than the local ones. Of 47 terrorists killed during January to September, 38 or 80% were foreign origin. There were 9 locals only, as compared to 2022, which saw 180 terrorists killed. 130 were locals and 57 were foreign ones, with foreign terrorists domination there presently. And security is strategically changing its tactics to deal with them. The border grid is tightened to foil any infiltration. There is sharp decline in local recruitment to 90% due to the decline in the locals joining the ranks. This has resulted in cracking down the OGW and hybrid terrorists. Now OGW hybrid terrorists slip back to their routine work after leaving a discernible trace, while OGWs are one who helps the terrorists with logistics support, cash, shelter, and other infrastructure. Keeping technical surveillance on radar on radical elements and who are on social media is also checked, and the direct contact with the handlers has been arrested. They are detained under the PSA, Public Security Act. The fear of not seeing their parents and family for months, of joining the ranks, terror ranks, action of attaching their property, and termination of services, as we have seen a lot of services by the government of J&K has been terminated. Terror ranks have discouraged the people joining the terror ranks and terrorists, supporting the terrorists. Terror is pushed now to the pushed from the different routes. From J&K, it's pushed from Punjab, and Nepal. The tactics have also changed. Large-scale violence, domestic recruitment, presence of social media. We have found in case of the Burhan Wani how he had amassed the social media campaign, and soft targets. Media attention is over now. Terrorist support supported by locals, pelting of stones, play of hide and seek, and glorifying funerals, as we have seen when a terrorist was killed, their funerals were glorified, is not visible now. Youth is radicalized. They are Pakistan terrorist base who have sneaked from the other borders, and they hide in the jungles, as we have recently seen in Kokranag. The terrorists had made an ambush, that too in the jungle area. They are not now in the districts or in the city, Srinagar city. Terrorism has reduced drastically from 1990 and brought to near normalcy. I cannot say it's a normalcy, but near normalcy. Expecting zero may be exceeding expectation. Terrorists can escape after encounter, but cannot break the dragnet. They are being neutralized. They cannot go back to Pak, and they have to be eliminated here only on Indian soil. The youth have shifted focus from international activities to the sporting events, football and cricket. Grounds are jam packed nowadays. Markets are bustling. Stone pelting has replaced by candle vigil in memory of those killed by the terrorists. Counterinsurgency, now all these things are taking how the things have changed from the past 1990. I'll move to the counter strategy. What was the counter insurgency strategy? The fact that India and Pakistan are arch rivals from 1947, and this game will go on. The talks will be fruitless with Pakistan, and even if the India initiates it, and it will never accept its complicity in supporting the terrorism. Insurgency, dropping guns, dropping drugs, weapons to finance support of terror groups will remain ongoing as it has been since 1947. While security force may capture a few, some may slip through also. Investigating overground workers and local recruits who seek to influence the youth has to be checked. Curbing of drug addicts, otherwise they may join the terror groups. Pak must be sanctioned by the global leaders. That's very important, and isolated. Counter infiltration grid has to be strengthened on all fronts. Now I'll come to when, where, and how to return. The timing of return should be based on thorough assessment of the security situation in the region. It should be implemented gradually and in the phased manner. The measures should be implemented from the outset and continue as an ongoing process to support the long-term reintegration of Kashmiri Pandits. Where to rehabilitate, whether it is a composite township as was stated, as was already planned, but it could not be executed because of certain security reasons, or it should be an exclusive township meant for the Kashmiri Pandits. But composite, to me, would be more secure. Apart from that, if exclusive will pose a security challenge, more security challenge than the composite. Let there be a careful planning, political will, and active involvement of various stakeholders. It should be carried out in phased manner, ensuring safety, security of Kashmiri Pandits if they have to return. How? Now I'll come to the how point. Well, legal things have been done. Article 370 has been abrogated. 35A is no more. The MOU has allowed Indian laws and the extension of rights and privileges to all the Indian citizens in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, the creation of safety zones has to be there. The designated safe zone, if it is made, or any cluster, I do not subscribe to the view, could ensure safety and security has to be there. Then rehabilitation policy. A comprehensive rehabilitation policy should be placed to provide financial, housing, and employment support to the returning Kashmiri Pandits. This could include rebuilding and restoring their damaged and destroyed properties, ensuring the safety of Kashmiri Pandits upon their return is paramount. Community policing has to be there, promoting community policing and trust building measures between the two religious communities can help maintain the peace and harmony. Then socio-economic integration has to be there. Employment opportunities have to be created for the Kashmiri Pandits. Education support has to be there. They have to be given scholarships, and their special programs have to be made for that. Cultural integration cultural integration, exchange has to be encouraged between the communities to foster a sense of belonging. For example, language, literature, both communities have to contribute to the rich legacy of language, exchange of stories, poetry, and folk dance, folk talk. To name a few, Lalded, Haba Khatun, Dinanath Nadim, G.R. Santosh, these were in fact, Lalded was 14th century poet, religious who transcends all the religious boundaries and is cherished by both the communities. Haba Khatun of 16th century, her verses express theme of love and beauty, remains an icon figure. Dinanath Nadim, his contribution to the literature has left a lasting impact. G.R. Santosh, an artist, poet, calligrapher, was artistic and literary, has played a role in the cultural diversity, all these this thing. But then music, music and dancing has been there. Sufi culture, Sufi music, for instance, reflected blend of both. Roof culture was there. Kashmiris, Muslims would come on the marriages of when the groom would come, they would do the roof. Ladies, as we have seen in recent this G20 meet in Srinagar, the roof, I think you must have already seen what is that. Then one moon, a similar exchange was done by Kashmiri Pandits, ladies. They would go when the Muslim groom would come. They would do one moon, which is a Hanze and all that. They would sing the song, the folk song. So all these things matter when the composite culture, bringing the composite culture together, again rebuilding it matters. Now the strategies, I'll talk about the strategies to be adopted here. Ensure adequate security measures, number one, which is very important for the Kashmiri Pandits, because security, we cannot do away with that. Revive composite culture, as I was talking about, which has suffered from the decades. Foster an atmosphere of trust, positive social interaction, and coexistence. It's very important if Kashmiri Pandit has to return. The trust, positive social interaction, and coexistence between the communities. Organize community dialogue, forums, conferences, where both communities can openly discuss, debate without fear, encourage respectful and empathetic listening to each other's narrative. I remember my days when I would sit in the coffee house and I had Muslim friends around. I was single. I would be a single person facing four Muslims and exchanging on various topics without any fear, fret, or fume. Then facilitating cultural exchanges, programs, workshops, and festivals that allow members of both the communities to learn about each other's tradition, values, and way of life. Encourage KPs to start small business entrepreneurships, develop a fair and transparent mechanism to resolving property and temple land grabbing disputes, involve community leaders, legal experts, and mediators in the process to ensure equitable solution, involve Muslims to maintain and preserve religious and cultural sites, as we have seen in Sharda temple. Ravinder Pandita, he speaks a lot about the Muslims and says that without their help, it was not possible to build the temple. Encourage responsible and unbiased reporting by the media. The media has also been responsible without any biased reports, which in promoting the stories that highlight the positive interaction and initiatives between the two communities. Launch public awareness campaigns that emphasize importance of reconciliation, coexistence, and tolerance. It's very important when we launch the public awareness campaigns. The emphasis should be on reconciliation, coexistence, and tolerance. Youth engagement. Let youth participate in the sports, arts, educational activities, encourage them in the friendship and interact with them. Who we have played, I remember we have played together. There are majority of the Muslims. There would be two or three Kashmiri Pandits. We have played a cricket, lot of cricket on the grounds, and where I was studying in the SP College in my graduation, there's a lot of cricket we have played there along. Community building, encourage establishments of mixed communities where both the Pandits and the Muslims live together, fostering daily interactions and cooperation. Let there be dialogue, because it's very important, dialogue and cooperation among the religious leaders, scholars of the both communities, to emphasize peace, tolerance, and coexistence. Religious leaders have to be involved in that, scholars have to be involved in that, so that the peace and tolerance and coexistence can be disseminated and spoken about. Inclusive policies have to be there. I was just talking in the morning with Mr. Shankar, and he spoke about the inclusiveness. Inclusivity, social cohesion is very important and equitable for the equitable development. Equitable development, when I speak of, it means that it should not be biased. If 2 jobs or 3 jobs are given to the Kashmiri Muslim, at least the 2 vacancies should be reserved exclusively for the Kashmiri Pandits. Now, last but not least, I'll come to His Holiness on 2nd of June 2023 in Hoskate. He spoke wisdom, the words of wisdom. He stressed the importance of Sanatan Dharma and imparting its teaching to children, and the need to start going to Kashmir not as tourists, but we must go there biannually, at least, or a quarterly, perform havanas and on regular basis, and at least that will create a different mindset of the Kashmiri Pandits and belongingness of the Kashmir together, so that these negative thoughts would not erupt, of not going to the Kashmir would not erupt. Thank you very much. Over to Mr. Shankarji.
No, it's a great summary of what is happening, what needs to be done, and that is a great presentation. Now, like you listed those 8 points, which I
Yeah.
think anyone would accept everything what you said. Reason why return is not possible, and of course you are given the strategies also. Now, if needed, Indian government can always say we use words like we can put down in one blow. They are not saying anything. Huh? They're exercising restraint. That is really amazing. Eh? Government is not coming out and saying anything. Next time we'll, if it's a US government, you know how it is. How they capture, how they say we'll make sure no stone is unturned. Whatever, they would boldly say that. But here, this restraint is really amazing. Eh? There is no match. This handful of terrorists hanging around, they are no match. Why the
Well,
government is not saying all those?
well, as you said that getting down in one go, and too much of restraint is there. In fact, you see, every polity and politics, where in the country where is a dynamic, societal setup, we cannot create the creation of this, this that hard this thing cannot be done. But where the integrity, sorry, where the nation is at stake, the security of the nation is at stake, or any element, terrorist element, or insurgencies come up there against the country, that has to be, pulled down with all might. With all might, these activities had to be put down. But as you said, I think these things are going on. The government of India post 2014, since Prime Minister Modi has taken over, this complete set has changed. Security setup has changed. Now they did not have that powers prior to 2014. There were every time there were bomb blasts, the killings was rampant, and which is not now happening, because there is a sea change post 2014, and especially 370. After 370 has been abrogated, and 35A has also not existing now, because both they come under the Indian law, and there is no flag. Only Indian flag will hoist. The constitution is one. There is no separate constitution for the state, and there is no 6 years assembly. Assembly is also now. It's not everything else. There would be 6 years assembly. So once I think when the political political processes comes into things already 6 years, 5 years, that things will change altogether, because politics, creating a political this thing will change it further, and there will be a sea change further, which is I optimistically hope for.
No, that's very good. Let's hope for that. Now, you touched upon the distress sale. I don't know if you are aware of. Some time ago, a team of people, Kashmiris, from your registration office, visited Chennai, and they wanted to study the systems in place. Obviously, we have better systems on registration formalities. They spent some time here instead of any other place. They came to Chennai. So there must be lots of things happening, like the strategies, what you listed here. Maybe they are happening. They are not announcing or telling what is going on. Somebody coming all the way from J&K to study our systems here, they wanted to probably incorporate. Now, the distress sale, you said, how was it fixed, the price and all? Just when they're running away, just throw away price, no registration done, which means it's still in your name?
Well, you see, it's a very complicated issue, and those who have already sold their properties and reversing these things is a very complicated. It has legal ramifications, and there are a lot of things involved in that. I don't think it will happen. Distress sales, they will reverse it to the Kashmiri Pandits, except there is that they may give some relief. They may give some, as the studies, a lot of studies have taken place, a lot of research have taken place in Kashmir and at the central level, that some relief of kind may be given to them for rehabilitation, and or a township like Jagati, but better, with the better amenities, may be provided to them in the selected places, maybe around outskirts of Srinagar, where they can be settled. They can be settled down. So this thing may happen. This has the way. This part has the way. But so far as this reversing the distress sales, I don't think it's going to happen, or this may take place. But some kind of the relief in cash or kind, it may take place in the near future, if BJP, the NDA comes back with the BJP and Mr. Modi comes back in power.
No, most of the politicians really they talk in support of Kashmiri Pandits, at least when they come out and say so. Those are not encouraging words. The Kashmir is not complete without Kashmiri Pandits.
Perceptions vary, and perceptions, people speak on the different perceptions, and I cannot challenge other person's viewpoints. Though I have my own viewpoints, I put forward, and I have my own narration. I have given my this thing, but rebutting them, it is left to the only strategists, the political strategists. So to me, I have a positive frame of mind. I'm optimistic. I still think that I will go back, and I hold the claim over Kashmir. I cannot say that I don't belong to Kashmir. I don't say that what I have to do to Kashmir and why I should go back. There are this thing, there are that thing, but only there are security problems are there, and let's leave it to the security experts, the politicians, and they will take the decision accordingly. And when the time is suitable, when the time is conducive, and they will provide me, keeping in view, let them take all the stakeholders on the board and decide over my return.
Yeah, we all know that it's not going to happen Monday morning,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
every
correct,
Kashmiri Pandit I talk to, they
correct,
are very hopeful. They
correct,
all exhibit the same, tolerance, inclusivity,
correct,
and having that neighbor. All the Kashmiri Pandits have the same view, and
right.
we all hope one day it will happen.
Definitely. Let's hope for the best.
Thank you very much for this presentation today.
Thank you,
Please
thank you.
do join again with all the wonderful
Definitely.
topics that
I'll
you
come
have
with a spiritual
suggested.
topic next. I'll come with a
Sure,
spiritual topic next.
we will continue that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Shankar.
much,
May God
and
bless you.
look forward to seeing you. Thank you, viewers. It has been really great having a different type of conversation today while we are touching on cultural aspects of Kashmir. We want to thank Kanji Mutt channels, YouTube, Kamakodi.tv, and BDSP for all the streaming support as always. And not to forget our Dinamala that is giving a great coverage of our Kashmir cultural heritage awareness. Till we meet again in a week or two, Jai Jai Shankar, Hare Hare Shankar.